What if I told you that Europe holds the one financial weapon that could bring the United States to its knees, not through missiles, not through cyber attacks, but through a simple financial move that would shake the foundations of the global economy, a move worth $2.3 trillion. And right now, because of Donald Trump's signals on Ukraine, European leaders are discussing that weapon in private rooms. Not planning to use it, but reminding Washington that it exists. This is Europe's so-called nuclear option, and the consequences of pressing that button would be catastrophic for everyone. Let's take a closer look at what is happening behind the scenes. Europe is terrified that Trump will abandon Ukraine, freeze the war along Russia's demands, and walk away from the continent's security. European states know what that means. Russia sitting right on the EU's border. New military spending at a scale not seen for generations. Billions in reconstruction costs dumped onto the shoulders of Europe while the United States retreats into America first. So Europe is pushing back with the only tool powerful enough to get Washington's attention. Its financial leverage. Here is the core of the story. European countries, their central banks and private financial institutions hold roughly $2.3 trillion in US government debt. Treasuries, the safest and most liquid asset on Earth. The backbone of the dollar system. If Europe sells even a small portion of that debt, the ripple across global markets would be immediate. Bond yields rise. US borrowing becomes more expensive. Mortgages jump. Stock markets fall. The dollar slips. And Trump knows it. He has said many times that he wants a weaker dollar. But the weakness he imagines is controlled, strategic, orderly. A lower dollar that benefits exporters without damaging the US economy. What Europe could unleash is not orderly. It is not controlled. It is not strategic. It would be panic. But here is the twist. Europe cannot actually do this without hurting itself. That is the nature of a nuclear option. The blast radius is too wide. If Europe sells too fast and too aggressively, the value of the remaining treasuries on European balance sheets collapses. Banks get hit. Pension funds take losses. Eurozone governments face higher borrowing costs. The ECB must step in with emergency support. Europe would be harming itself almost as much as it harms the United States. This is why it is a threat, not a plan. But the threat matters. Because for the first time, European officials are allowing the idea to surface. They are sending a quiet warning to Washington. If you abandon Ukraine, you abandon the stability of the entire Western financial system. If you shift the global order for a political win, we can shift it too. The power is not in the action. The power is in the signal. And the signal is already changing behavior in Washington. Markets are watching. Diplomats are whispering. Analysts are suddenly writing sentences that would have been unthinkable 5 years ago. The transatlantic relationship, once the world's most stable partnership, is entering a new phase. A more transactional phase, a more fragile one. Europe has discovered that it holds a lever. America has discovered that it is not unbreakable. But here is the uncomfortable truth. If Europe ever reached the point where it seriously considered dumping treasuries, the alliance would already be collapsing. The damage would be irreversible. The global economy would face the most dangerous crisis since 2008, possibly worse. And the only winners would be Moscow and Beijing. So the real story is not that Europe might do this. The real story is that Europe needs to talk about it at all. The alliance is fraying. The trust is eroding. And behind the diplomatic smiles, both sides are calculating how far they can push before something breaks. If Washington listens, there is still time to reinforce the foundation. If it does not, Europe's patience will end long before its treasuries do. If you enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and visit westernrelations.com for deeper political insight from across the Western world. Thank you for watching.